Why did you become an actor? Because I wanted people to pay attention to me.
Yeah, it's a lot of people say it's because, like, you know, they want to entertain people or make people happy or, you know, affect the world in a positive way. Not me, Dan. You know, it's a very self-centered pursuit. Yeah.
I'm here for the cheap laughs. See, that's where you and I are different. You're like, no fart jokes. Those are cheap jokes. I'm like, only fart jokes because they're cheap.
Double down. Toot, toot, toot.
Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! It's like watching, yeah!
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
And I'm Tony.
Each week we get together to talk about a movie that we both watched, and then I dismantle Tony from top to bottom, and this is going to be the most Tony dismantling of all shows we've ever done.
There's no way that this is possible. I already hate how this is starting because it sounds like you didn't hate this movie, and this movie is straight trash. This is straight trash.
I wrote 4 pages of notes on the movie.
I have 6 pages of notes. It might be a record.
Then I wrote 1 page of notes on Tony.
I
pre-noted you, Tony.
Oh my god, I can't wait. I hope I hit all the topics on the pre-notes.
So Tony, just mention what the name of the movie is we're watching.
Okay, I'll try to withhold all of my opinions from just mentioning it. But just a little backstory if you weren't here last week. No, just a tiny, come on. All right, fine. You know what? No backstory. I'll sneak it in as we go along.
Do your backstory.
Okay, let me say, if you were here last week, I did a little intro. But in 2013, Hollywood made a grave error. They made 2 movies that are very similar, as they do sometimes, Whitehouse Down and, of course, Olympus Has Fallen. And somehow, some way, for some reason, one of them took off, got 2 atrocious sequels, and the other one was left to die, and that is a real shame because the other one is vastly superior in every single way, and that of course is Whitehouse Down. So we watched Olympus Has Fallen just so I can reaffirm my beliefs and make sure I wasn't just jaded, because I do that. Sometimes I get bitter and I'm like, you know what, I don't care how good you are, I'm going to hate you because you ruined my favorite thing in the world. But I'm vindicated. I will say it right now.
Which of these 2 movies, since we're talking about 2 movies, even though we're only supposed to be talking about 1 movie?
No, we're only talking about 1. I'll try to keep it as much Olympus Has Fallen focused as I can. I can't make promises.
As you can. Which one did you see first in the movie theater?
Whitehouse Down, of course.
Oh.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter, 100%.
You couldn't get into the other one because that's where the crowds were?
Yeah, because that one was sold out, so I went down the hall and I went to the next movie. Yeah. No, because Olympus Has Fallen thinks that it's a real movie, and it's not. And I was like, this trailer looks so stupid. I hate everything about it. And then the Whitehouse Down trailer came out, and I was like, what a fun time. Let's see that one instead of the one that thinks that it's making something great. The one that's like, let's have a good time, guys. Let's have a good time. So I went to the good time.
Okay.
Just like Robert Pattinson.
So you've had your say, Tony.
Am I done for the podcast?
No, you're done with the having your say.
Okay,
where you don't have to actually justify what you're saying. I'm
gonna justify the shit out of it.
Now, when you walk into a movie theater.
Okay, I'm gonna try to remember what that's like.
Yeah, you walk into a movie theater. You watch it on little tiny screens.
It's 1994, and I'm going to a movie theater. Got it.
You, Tony, bring all of this baggage with you. You carry in all this Tony baggage. This like, I've seen a trailer and there's funny lines and I have to be delivered these funny lines a second time and they have to be funnier when I see them. And if they haven't appropriately been funnier, then I'm going to be angry because
then you're if you blow it on the trailer, the trailer is a teaser, Dan. Once it becomes in context, the joke better be better.
So wait a second.
If you're giving me everything you got in the trailer, I'm not going to like your movie very much.
So when you like turn on the television and there's an old movie that you haven't seen the trailer for, are you disappointed because you haven't had that necessary part of the movie-going experience?
It depends. Is the movie terrible?
No, but you
And
see that
let's
the
be
whole
honest,
point
man,
is
I've seen
all
most of the trailers.
all trailers are there for to do is to entice you to go to the movie. And then
That's right. Or to warn you away from the movie in the case of Olympus Has Fallen. Did you watch the trailer? I feel like we should have watched the trailer.
why would I watch the trailer? The trailer has nothing to do with the movie.
It's so melodramatic. They think they're making the greatest, most important movie in the world. There's like America, the flags fall. Oh, fuck you. You think you're so important.
Well, the box office thought it was important.
Okay, but the people are idiots. Can we just say, America, you're dumb. You're dumb. You chose wrong.
So you
I'm sorry. I had my
okay,
piece.
Tony. So you hate America so much. Why don't you leave?
Because I got no place else to go.
Exactly.
I'm Richard Gere. I got no place else to go.
We take your filthy and downtrodden Tonys and we allow them to be here, even though all they do is America's bad. I hate America. I hate Donald Trump. Oh, blah blah blah.
Sure. You know what else I hate? Olympus Has Fallen. It's right up there with all the bad things of America. Oh, America thinks it's so important. Oh, I'm going to save America. I don't care, guy. I don't care, Gerard Butler.
Let America die. That's what Tony says. He's
let
ready
it
for it to
burn.
die. He's like,
if Channing Tatum's in it, I'll watch it.
Seditionists go burn down the White House. Burn down whatever you want because I don't want America anymore. Because I want light comedy.
It's not light comedy. It's still, there's still a lot of action, a lot of blood, and then there's also comedy. Because what we forget sometimes is the greatest action movies in history all have comedy as well. To balance out this melodrama that we've set up, you need the comedy.
So you can't have a dark action movie.
You can't make it as bad as Olympus Has Fallen and still expect me to enjoy it. You just can't. I'm sorry. It's not good enough to be as serious as it is.
Okay. So Tony demands that a movie has action and it has comedy and all these things have to blend perfectly in this perfect the only way Tony wants a movie to be.
Not the only way, but let me point out why I'm right. And
please start the podcast by pointing out why you're right.
Let me explain why I'm right about this.
Explain why you're
right. What are the biggest movies in the world right now? Marvel movies. Am I wrong?
I mean, a lot of people have said a lot of negative things about the Thor movie because there's too much comedy in it.
I am very interested on a tangent. I'm really excited to see what this is all about because somebody I saw on Twitter was like, it's basically Batman and Robin of the MCU. And I'm like, whoa,
I don't think so.
Holy shit. There's no way that that's true, but is it too silly? I don't know. I'm excited to see it. I think that, what was the last one? Thor Ragnarok was perfect. Was pitch perfect. I thought that movie was great.
It was incredibly enjoyable.
Exactly. It's incredibly enjoyable.
I would not call it a perfect movie at all.
Oh, no, of course not. But how much fun did you have?
It's a super fun movie. It's a super popcorn movie. It's sort of your benchmark of how popcorn movies are now. Just enough weirdness, 100%. Enough fun, et cetera, et cetera.
And how much money do these movies make? So much, ungodly amounts of money. And guess what Olympus Has Fallen is not? Fun. It's not fun.
Well, it didn't make that. I mean, it made a fair amount of money, but it didn't make that much money. I mean,
it didn't make. That's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It didn't make a ton of money.
It made $200 million. It made exactly the amount of money it should have made.
It made exactly what it needed to make to get a sequel, and then the sequel didn't do well. But they were like, "Let's do the third one." I'm making that up. I didn't look at the numbers. My point is,
because these movies sell overseas, so they're always going to try and make these.
Yeah, I believe that.
Everybody came back for that third movie too.
They did. Yeah, good old Morgan Freeman.
Oh,
God.
Smart guy.
I love it.
Cash those checks.
Best part of this movie. Hold on. My point is, Dan, that I'm right because Marvel movies are the pinnacle of blending action and humor. Well, that's what they do. That's their nest egg, and then mixed with, nerdgasms. But the comedy and the action is what makes them so enjoyable. That's why people go see these movies and pay millions and millions of dollars every year to see the same shit over and over. Because they're all basically the same. Whitehouse Down should be in that echelon. It is Roland Emmerich at his finest. I mean, this is like ID4 Roland Emmerich. You know what I mean? That's the closest this movie gets to is Independence Day with the
Tony,
witty
Tony, I believe we're supposed to be talking about a certain different movie than that movie. If we did a praise the movies movie show, then you could talk about Whitehouse Down all you want, but that's not what we're talking about.
It's not what we're talking about, but I am very
We're not
bitter
talking about
it.
how that movie failed at the box office and did not go anywhere. It probably shouldn't have. And
it's the most underrated Roland Emmerich film of all time.
That might be true.
All right.
The problem
I can't think of anything else.
The problem is you as a viewer hate this other movie because a different movie exists and a different movie failed at the box office. That is the main reason you hate it. That is the main reason you hate it.
It's the main reason I get angry. If this movie was a standalone movie, I still think it's terrible. I hate this movie. I think it's bad. It takes itself too seriously. We'll talk about it. But on the added element that it also overshadowed a far superior movie, yes, that does upset me to the point where like I am enraged.
See, I think you have become so enraged you cannot watch this movie without it coloring your beliefs.
I would assume nobody can watch this movie because it's unwatchable. End of story. End of podcast. Wrap it up.
Well, what I'm saying is you're a terrible reviewer.
No, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, Dan.
I could go into a movie and watch a Tom Cruise movie or a Will Smith movie, even though they're in horrible, crazy cults, allegedly. And still, I don't say Top Gun is a garbage movie. I'm like, Top Gun, really good movie. It's not a movie for me. It's not a movie I'm going to go back and rewatch. But I'm like, you get in there, it hits the notes. I'm like, Top Gun, good movie.
It does. Yeah.
Will Smith in Independence Day, good movie, good actor. He's been in many good movies. He's also been in many terrible movies.
Which I feel like we need to start doing. We haven't really done any Will movies, but there's plenty.
We're gonna go there.
We'll get there. Yeah, there's...
And when we see a Marky Mark movie, I don't talk about him allegedly almost murdering someone. When we have Matthew Broderick on, I don't dislike the movie because he allegedly killed two people in a car accident.
But we did talk about it.
Of course we can talk about it.
We did talk about the Matthew Broderick one. We did talk about Marky Mark bludgeoning a man.
For no reason.
Yeah,
almost to death, allegedly. So you got to check if you're going to be impartial. You got to do that. You got to go into the movie be impartial.
I've never said I will be impartial.
Exactly.
I have never said I would do that because I am human and this is part of my human experience. I'll tell you that right now. Movies are a part of the human experience. That's why we love them. They touch us emotionally and personally, and sometimes it's bad touch.
So Olympus Has Fallen, 2013, Rotten Tomatoes, 50 for the critic, 66 for audience versus Olympus Has Fallen.
No, Whitehouse Down.
Whitehouse Down, 52 with critics, 62 with audience. So the audience likes Olympus a little better. The critics are pretty much the same.
But they're both horribly split. They both are right around that 50 mark, which is very interesting to me.
I'm stunned that I would have thought the audience would have reacted to Whitehouse Down a little better because it is a better movie. I'm surprised that they're that close.
I agree, and a lot of it is because this one came out first. Olympus Has Down came out first, and a lot. No. If you just listen, Rotten Tomatoes, not an actual barometer of how people feel about things, but if I spent a lot of time last night digging down the review, the people reviews of Whitehouse Down, and a lot of it is just like, oh, it's not as good as Olympus Has Fallen. Olympus Has Fallen.
Really?
Like it's all. Most of the criticism isn't about the movie; it's just about the two of them, which is where I fall as well. But everyone's wrong on that thread.
So it's the same thing as you. So that's the thing is,
but wrong.
Your bad, inappropriate sensibilities about how to view movies is echoed in many of the other critics, but for the exact opposite reasons.
Yeah, for the wrong reasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're wrong. Yeah. Anyhow.
So we start with the military music. We're in Camp David. It's snowy. Oh, I have a question for you. I watched this on a tiny, tiny screen. It said like they shot this movie like someplace crazy, like in the South or something. And like everything in this movie's green screened all in. I did not notice it on on my small screen. Is that a problem? That you can talk
Dan.
about that now. It's terrible.
It's so bad.
Oh,
It's embarrassing. Like
okay.
everything, every outdoor shot is green screen. There is not a real place to be had. There's even a scene where Gerard Butler is at his desk, and outside the window is the worst green screen you've ever seen in your life. It's it doesn't look real. Listen, green screen technology, yes, it's come a long way in the last decade, but it wasn't that bad.
Well, it's 2013. It's like 9 years ago. It's not like Stone Ages.
This is not a 90s, 80s movie. Like, it was not this bad. And it looks like a school project at it. They ran out of money in the post, and they were like, just send it to a high school. They'll fix it for free. It'll be an internship for them.
So we're at Camp David. Gerard Butler, we're going to call him G-Butt, doing some boxing with the president. I did not recognize Aaron Eckhart during the boxing, not till the next scene when he was cleaned up that I was like, oh, it's Aaron Eckhart.
I watched it with Naomi, as I usually do, and she hasn't watched a ton of Aaron Eckhart movies, and she was like, who is this guy? And I was like, it's the guy from The Dark Knight. She's like, no, that doesn't look like him at all. And I was like, that's interesting. I think he lost some weight, so I think like he looked a little gaunt. I don't know, but she didn't even recognize him full stop. And I was like, that's interesting.
His hair looked weird in the boxing scene, and he seemed shaped different. He just seemed very different. When once they got him cleaned up, I was like, oh, it's Aaron Eckhart, who I love.
Sure.
In one of my favorite movies of all time.
I, Frankenstein?
Yeah, it's I, Frankenstein. Shut up.
Oh, it's a good movie.
Yes, good.
We should do that movie.
So Aaron Eckhart's our president. Ashley Judd is his wife. She's beautiful. Don't get attached to her because she's going to be dead.
Well, the good news is you don't get attached to her because the one interaction she has with the two guys is super awkward. It's just like, oh, I love you both. See you later. And that's kind of it. And I was like, okay, great. Let's kill someone I don't care about at all. Way to up the stakes, dum-dums.
God, Jesus. So we meet the son. He's playing video games with the son. They get in the car. They go out there. Something happens, which I thought was an attack.
But you don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is.
The movie's shot so poorly. You have no idea what happens. All of a sudden, the car's spinning in slow motion. And you're like, wait, what?
We should have seen a deer or something because we thought things were happening. But there's just like this crash, boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
President's car's over the edge. Gerard Butler makes the decision, saves the president. The wife goes in the drink and to her death. Nobody dives in for her.
Nobody goes in after. Everyone just kind of stands there and like, well, I guess that happened, guys. That's it.
It sure seemed like one of them should have gone for her. I don't know.
Somebody should be jumping in the water. Someone should be on a walkie like the first lady's in the fucking lake. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. But I found it to be a decently emotional beat.
Can I be honest with you, Dan?
Yeah.
There was a very brief moment during this scene when they're holding the car, like the two Secret Service guys are like holding the fucking car down and yelling, and Gerard Butler's like, I can't get them both. I'm cutting you out. I'm sorry. I was like, uh-oh, am I wrong about this movie? Because I enjoyed this moment. I was like, oh shit. And then the movie just continually goes downhill. And I was like, oh, thank God I was right, because I was almost embarrassed.
Because I went to my wife and I was like, what's wrong with Tony? This seems fine. I don't see the problem.
Great scene, great intro to the movie. They don't pay it off.
Big
It's
music. 18 months later, July 5th, Gerard Butler is down on it. Yeah, this whole part gets a little confusing.
Yes, it does.
You're like, I think he's down on his luck, and he's like, I thought
kind of not really.
But not really. He's got like a hot wife, who I thought was the girlfriend, who I thought was going to leave him right then.
Yeah,
she just stays. She's like, I love you. See, I think those are things you don't like about the movie, but I kind of like about the movie because he's not a loser. He that isn't the destruction of his life. It's bad because bad things happen in life, and this movie does a couple things which. See, I think you don't like because they actually subvert expectations. He should be down on his luck. That girl should be leaving him. He should be going to work at Wawa. All these terrible things should be happening, but no, did a pretty good job.
So you're saying it should be a redemption story? Oh, interesting. I agree. Is it? No, he's just a guy doing his job. That's pretty much. Here's the movie. Guy does his job. Roll credits.
I like that about it. I don't like that. It's like I do not like where we start, where every kid in the world's getting bullied, where everything terrible in the world. You're just like, oh, give me a break. This movie doesn't do that. It's just like he got through it. He's not happy about it.
Yeah, he had a tough day at work, but things go on.
A really negative thing happened. His wife still loves him. So I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, he doesn't even listen to her in the first scene. She still loves him. It's fine. He's a terrible husband.
Still
he
good.
Murdered the first lady. He's doing fine.
Because she understands he's going through stuff, and that's how life is. Your wife doesn't leave you because you're going through stuff. She supports you. But Tony wants her to leave, and like...
It should at least be Monster Squad level where the bags are packed in the background. You don't even notice it until the second viewing, but at least something's happening. Give me some emotional stakes. The guy's pretty much fine. A little bit of therapy and he'll be fine. He'll bounce right back.
So Morgan Freeman, they're talking about North Korea. North Koreans arrive. I guess the North Koreans arrive, and I said to myself, there better be some kung fu in this movie, or I'm gonna
be pissed.
There's not enough racism in the world.
That's right.
and of course there is kung fu in the movie.
Yeah, and oh shoot, I should have looked up his name. The guy from Fast and the Furious. He's the second. He's the head of the security detail for North Korea. Johnny Tran he's spoiler alert, he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy, Dan. That's who I'm talking about. He's I love him. He's a dream.
The main bad guy?
Yeah, the main bad guy. Yeah.
Main bad guy, very forgettable.
Do you want to talk about that now, or should we talk about this later?
We can talk about the main bad guy is like supposed to be North Korean. That dude's not North Korean. He's not Korean.
No, he's not. No,
what is?
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea.
What's his name? Tran?
That's his name in Fast and the Furious. I don't know his real name. Hold on.
You don't even know his real name.
I'm not you know how I watch.
You're like
movies.
in love with this guy, and you don't even know his name.
I think he's great, but I think that this movie does a terrible job at letting him be. His name is Rick Yoon. That's
Chinese, probably.
Or maybe that's his name no, that's his real name. Yeah, because Kang is his name in the movie.
Kang is his name. Okay, so talk about Kang.
Okay, so oh boy, so this movie wants to be what? Die Hard in the White House? Can we agree on that?
Absolutely.
Now, what makes Die Hard an enjoyable film, Dan? Or do you just want me to tell you?
Bruce Willis is funny.
Bruce Willis is funny, but also Alan Rickman, charming as hell in that movie.
Yeah.
One of the best bad guys of all time, and they're like back and forth is what makes that movie so good.
Star is Born. He did that movie, and
100%.
He's like, okay, this guy works for life.
And deservedly so.
Deservedly
He's
so
good. Because you like the bad guy. He's killing people, and you're like, yeah, but he's pretty cool though. You know what I mean? This movie, he's just a bad guy. He's just a bad guy.
And we're always sort of Die Hard. We're waiting for the twist. Die Hard, it's like, we're going to blow up the tower, but really he's robbing the bank. And we're like, this is...
And I know I'm not supposed to talk about it. Whitehouse Down has that twist. Just saying.
Does it?
Yeah, you think they're doing it for money, but it turns out, no, one of the guy's son was killed and he's actually trying to bomb. It doesn't matter. But there's a twist, and I was like, oh, look at that. Oh, it's better again.
This movie, no, they just want to blow up the world. Like,
yeah, it's just pretty straightforward stuff, guys.
More importantly, they want to blow up the world, and then they think they're going to escape through like a back door and then walk away somehow?
That is correct. Yeah, that's the plan. It's a good plan.
And more importantly, everybody in this plan, they want to blow up the world, and they're all willing to everyone's willing to die, which is interesting.
Yeah, no one seems to have like an end game where they're like, I would like to rule the world. It's just like, we're going to do this, and then we'll see what happens. Who knows?
Yeah, basically everybody in this movie, they say to them, you're going to your death, which is kind of interesting because that doesn't work with a North Korean adversary. It works if you do like a religious terrorist, right?
Yes,
Because
sure.
a religious terrorist, as we saw with the Twin Towers, they're willing to do the work
Well, because you're going to God and
because they're
whatnot.
going to God.
Yeah.
These people all just kind of doing it because they're sort of bent out of shape, sort of, because America's a
I
big
guess
jerk.
they're a little upset. Yeah, you're just like a mean bully.
Yes. So we also set up Angela Bassett as the head of the Secret Service. And she's just like, give it time. You're going to come back. Give it time.
Yeah, so first of all, can we just talk? How long is the presidency? 4 years, right?
Typically.
So we have to imagine that happened sometime in his first year, probably, the loss of his wife, right?
Yeah.
But he was established enough that he was I don't know, he was president. So 18 months later, that's another year and a half. So he's somewhere between year 2.5 to like 3.5 in his presidency. And she's like, give him time, you'll come back. There's not a lot of time left, lady. Unless you think he's for sure getting a second term. I don't know.
Well, I mean, truthfully, it doesn't matter because she decides staffing and all that. The president doesn't decide staffing.
But he is for sure. They tell you he is for sure the reason that he's not on that detail anymore.
Yeah, but if a new president comes in, well, then they say
but then you don't have to wait. It's just like just wait till he's out of office, vote for the other guy, and then you're back in the game.
She also sort of said he wants you back, but he's not quite ready for it. And yeah, I don't see that's a problem.
Which I totally understand the motivation. I don't like the line, just he'll come around. He doesn't have time to come around.
Ooh, wow, that's a nightmare line. Terrible movie.
You know what, Dan? This is a bad movie because they're just throwing out willy-nilly sentences that don't mean anything.
So now the big attack begins. We get this weird plane comes in, and then the planes that make it land say, land, and then they throw open the hatches, and then machine guns to the side, machine gun. Then they come in, and then they send the other thing, and then they're like, countermeasures, wow. Then they fly over the White House, and they're like, machine gun, and then eventually, like the plane, like they shoot it down, and it crashes.
Yeah, no, that was a good. I like the sound effects.
It's pretty cool. I liked it, and then they're all like,
I love this plane.
Cool.
I just want to say, in a movie filled with action sequences I do not enjoy whatsoever, I love this plane.
So they like take the president to the bunker. Also take the North Koreans with you. This would never happen.
Okay, I wasn't. I felt that way, but I was like, I don't really know enough. I'm not that smart, but it felt weird to me.
This is one you have to sort of leave. They're like, well, we got to figure out a way to get bad guys in with the president in the bunker. And this is how we're doing it. Doesn't make any sense. They would never do that.
Do you know how I'm sorry, Dan. You know how Whitehouse Down does it? It's his head of security detail. That's who's the inside man. They have an inside man. It's great. It's really good.
That's terrible.
It's not terrible. It's so good.
And then they're shooting civilians, and Gerard Butler's like, with the plane doing its whole thing. He's like looking out the window. He's like, holy moly, look at that plane.
Also, Dan,
I love that. I love that he's watching it out the window.
Hold on. There's a scene where that plane is coming at like what looks like a restaurant or maybe like a mid-floor snack area, and nobody panics. It's coming right at them, and they all just look out the window, and then it veers off at the last second. No one's like, ah! They're so calm and collected. It's ridiculous.
So, Gerard Butler, he's out there saving civilians. It kills everyone.
In the flash mob, right? This is the flash mob where suddenly hundreds of people gather on the White House lawn and all have guns. Yeah, the flash mob. It's great. It's really great stuff.
What happens? I don't know what you're talking about.
Where did all these people come from, Dan? How many people do you think are charging the lawn on the White House lawn right now?
I don't know.
100?
You mean the
150?
Are we talking about the bad guys?
Yeah, the bad guys.
We haven't gotten to the ground troop attack yet.
Oh, we haven't? Okay.
No, we're still with the plane. Right. The plane hits the Washington Monument. That falls over. And when the plane crashes, it crashes into a bunch of civilians and kills them. Great.
Yeah, that's true.
I loved it. Yeah. The president's downstairs, and he's like, where's my son? They forgot the son. And then Gerard Butler's like, outside the White House, like at the fence, and he's like looking around. He's like, things seem
Okay, yeah, this is where it happens.
bus explodes, and then like 30 to 40
And then
bad
flash mob.
guys throw smoke, and then they like attack. They have kung fu, and then these trash trucks come and they disable themselves, and the trash trucks are full of machine guns, and we just start machine gunning everyone at the White House. It's great.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting, Dan, is if you have some trained individuals, okay, on your side, and they're just mowing people down that run out the door.
Yeah.
How many people before you run out and get shot before the person behind you goes, oh, maybe I'm not going to run out into the open and get shot to death?
I've seen a lot of movies. People just keep running.
But
in movies,
so
people just run to their death. It's
And
like
where
if
is
there's
the
like a meat
communication?
grinder, they would just like run into the meat grinder.
Jump
out
right
comes
in.
the meat. Yeah. Out comes the meat, man.
And where are comms working? Can you tell?
It's very loud.
It's very loud. Okay. Is it loud inside where they would be saying, "Hey, don't come out.
Yeah.
Don't come out here."
There's smoke
But
too.
instead,
A lot of smoke.
but
They might have disabled the comms. They could have disabled
But they
the
didn't
comms.
because Gerard Butler has comms for the whole movie. But he seems to be the only person with comms on the inside. Not a single member of the White House or Secret Service has working comms, but Gerard Butler, he's got them. He must have fixed them because we forgot to mention that he's a great engineer.
So the bad guys are going forward, and then Gerard Butler, he's the one good guy behind the bad guys, and it's great. So he's just like, he's just shooting them. He shoots Lady Sniper. He's just killing them. He's just eating them alive. He just works his way through all of them, and then he gets up to the front. And then Dermot Mulroney and all the bad guys take over the bunker.
Hold on. His name is
Dermot?
That's the wrong one. Yeah.
Dermot
this
Mulroney.
Is Dylan McDermott.
Dylan
right?
McDermott. Dylan takes over.
They shouldn't have their names so close together.
So
that's their fault.
He's the mole. He takes over, and they've taken the bunker, and then everybody's dead except Gerard Butler, and he's like the only one not dead.
Yeah, which seems totally believable, right? Even though he was with a group of 4. And then all of a sudden, so he's with like 3 other dudes when the RPG happens.
I don't think
Yeah, he's with his Secret Service buddies that he saw. He sees the one guy that he's like, "Hey, how are your kids?" He's dead on the ground.
Oh yeah,
he's
they
like,
all get
sad.
killed. They all get killed while he's standing there.
But he's with them.
They get killed. And it's just him.
He's with them. He would also get killed. I'm just saying I didn't like the setup.
They gave their lives for him.
Do they? The one guy who's not on the team? I don't think so.
He's inside the White House, and there's still some bad guys outside the White House, but the bad guys are in the bunker. No, I think they killed everyone outside. So he's like the last one, and he's like in the rubble. And
everybody's dead.
Night falls.
Yeah, so he just hides for a while.
So
that's smart.
So he's hiding. It's good. Night falls.
It's good.
He finds Cole Hauser's body. He's dead. He goes in there and he kills 2 guys that are in charge of the monitors and like takes the screens off the thing. Turn those off so they can't see what he's doing. And then the bad guy tells the Morgan Freeman and everybody. I think we have Morgan Freeman already in charge.
Yeah, I think that all happens kind of
in between all this.
Time. Yeah.
And then the flag falls down. Bad guys get the flag.
You're going to skate right over the flag falling. Oh, you watch it on a small screen. Dan, the flag falling in front of the White House.
I cried.
Why is it a fake flag?
I cried. I was crying because the American
You're
flag
already
fell.
using a green screen for the White House. Why don't you just drop a real flag? It's a fake flag.
Tony,
what is the point of that?
Real flag, CGI flag, it's still emotional to me because I love America.
It's not emotional. If you were watching it on a real screen, you'd be laughing your ass off, Dan. I promise you. It looks terrible.
So they say the bad guy tells them to stand down, and they're like, everybody stand down, stand down. Fleming.
Fleming. Here's my problem, Dan. Why are they standing down?
Because you gotta kind of have. See, Tony, you watch this movie called Interceptor that spent had these giant gaps of absurdity, and you're like, still love the movie. It's a great one. Nothing. There's no laughs in Interceptor, and you still love it.
There's no laughs, but the movie doesn't take itself seriously. It knows what it is. It doesn't write jokes because they can't write jokes.
So
I firmly believe if that writer was good enough to write jokes, they would have written jokes, but they can't.
Hold on. If you were to talk to the writer and the director of Interceptor, and you said the things where you give speeches about, I don't remember what, inequality and all this weird shit. It was done. Yeah, I didn't mean any of that stuff. It was just there because I had to put something into fill some space. I didn't mean it. You're not supposed to take it seriously.
Emotions,
but there were no real emotions in that movie.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they knew what that movie is. This movie wants to be something more. This movie thinks that it's A, important, and B, really good. It's neither of those things. It takes itself too seriously.
I don't know, that first whole action thing. We had the airplane, we had trash trucks, we had assault. I enjoyed all that.
I enjoyed the airplane. I don't enjoy the flash mob. I don't believe that would work. I just don't. I don't believe it.
You don't think that would work? Why would that not work?
I think that it's A, heavily fortified enough that wouldn't work. But B, maybe they did the research.
Tony, hold on a second.
What?
I'm just going to say one thing. January 6th, a bunch of yahoos broke into the Capitol building and almost killed Mike Pence.
And we kind of let them, Dan. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was...
if those people
pretty much let them.
If those people had guns, it would have been a nightmare.
I mean, it was a nightmare already. And yes, if both sides had guns, there'd be a lot of death. But I still think that if... Listen, this is getting very political, but if we were open firing on them, they're not getting there.
Oh, you're really...
But we can't. I'm not saying we should. Let me be clear. I'm not saying that that's the way to go. I'm just saying in this movie, these people have AKs and weapons, and it's like, okay, we shoot you. You're coming at us with guns. We're going to shoot you. We are the fortified base.
So you think the tactical response of the White House was not what it should have been?
I hope that is the case. I don't know because I've never tested it. But if this is how easy it falls, it takes 40 guys in one plane. I feel like we should have been in trouble a long time ago. That's all.
So Dylan McDermott complains about globalization. It's really weird.
I don't understand his motivations at all. I'm going to be honest with you.
They didn't do something for me, and I'm pissed off at something, not really something. What happened? Something.
And then there's a line where he's like, "There's a reason I didn't vote for you." But I don't know the reason. I don't understand that at all. I'm like, okay, yeah. Why not, bud? Tell me.
More importantly, we don't know if he's like a bleeding heart liberal or a moderate conservative. We don't really know what he is.
No idea.
We have no idea.
I don't know his political beliefs, the president. I don't know Dylan McDermott's political beliefs, but I understand that they don't mesh.
So G-Butt gets to the Oval Office. He knows exactly where to go. He opens his safe. He knows the secret combination. He puts on the satellite phone, gets himself a gun. I'm like, this is great. He knows the secrets. So he's loaded up. And
he knows all of the secrets because it's his job.
So he calls the good guys and is like, okay, here's the situation. You can't storm the place because they put bombs on all the windows.
I feel like you can get around that. You know what I mean? Like, just set them off from a distance, right? Don't we have like... I feel like you could zap them. Or like some sort of radio device. I don't know.
No, Tony, these bombs have everybody scared, and they're not going to send anybody in there because of bombs.
These are the best bombs you've ever seen in your life. I love it. It's ridiculous.
So, what the bad guy wants... Oh, no, okay. So then the kid is on the loose. So Gerard Butler knows the kid's on the loose. Got to find the kid. So that's step one, find the kid.
Step one, find the tiny child.
One of the bad guys comes in the office and they start fighting, and then Gerard Butler beats him to death with a bronze bust of Lincoln.
Which would be cool if you could see it better, but the way that this action is direct.
Oh my God, Tony! There should be full daylight and there should be clean light so I can see Gerard Butler's face while he acts. It's like dark.
No, it's dark, yes, but they do the thing that we started doing with like the Bourne series, which is the shaky camera fight scenes. You and me, other directors that have made super popular films like us. It's just it's one of my least favorite things that we do in the business. I want to see the fight choreography. I want to be wow. It's someone's job. Show it off. Like give me a Tom Cruise action scene. Give me a Keanu Reeves action scene. I mean, they won't be as good as either of those, but I want to see it. I want to see what's happening because I don't believe Gerard Butler can fight. I don't believe it. And this just proves to me that he can't because you're like, well, we got to do a lot of editing tricks to make it look real because this guy cannot fight.
I was very disappointed with the shot selection.
You're darn right I was, Dan. God. You told me to bring criticisms. I'm telling you my criticism. You just criticize my criticisms.
He just beat a guy to death with the bronze bust of Lincoln. Isn't that enough?
I'm not even sure he did. How about that? I couldn't see it. Could have been a bust of anybody as far as I'm concerned.
Could have green screened that thing in. So the whole next big hole in the bad guy's plot is he's like, you got to make the 7th Fleet turn around, and you got to make everybody leave the DMZ. Now, Tony.
Yeah.
Talk to me about boats.
Talk to me about boats. Boats are very slow. Boats, it's also, I think, relatively hard to turn something that big around quickly.
Well, not quickly, but I mean, it probably takes like one of those big boats half an hour to turn around.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We barely have enough time in this time frame that he's given us. We barely have enough time to tell them and then have a little argument where they're like, well, we'll lose an entire country. And hey, don't worry about it. It's fine. Their orders. Like, okay, I guess we'll start turning around. 45 minutes later, okay, we're headed away, but you may not notice it yet on the radar because we're moving 8 miles per hour because we're a big boat.
They move in knots, by the way.
Sorry, you're right.
That's
3 knots.
3 knots.
I don't know.
And
I'm not nautical.
Whenever like a president, whenever a president tries to like make troops leave someplace, because they like made promises, and then they're like tell the army's like, we're on it, and then the army we got to make a plan. That's 1 year to make a plan.
No, don't worry about it. They're gone. 10 minutes.
Those are literally the slowest things that could ever happen.
It's more than just like say one person. You know what I mean? Like you have to coordinate a bunch of shit to make that happen.
Yeah.
But no, just do it now. Please do it now. I would like it done right now. Thank you.
And it's like this movie takes hours and hours, and like by the end they finally capitulate and start doing it. But it's like it would then take, as if North Korea has these mobilized troops that could just roll in and take over South Korea, which has their own military and all sorts of other things. It's not just a bunch of Americans standing there protecting them.
No, you're wrong, Dan. America's the only hero on the planet, and we are protecting the little guy. But you love this movie, Dan.
I love this movie. I never said I love this movie. I just was like, what is your problem with this? Just a stupid movie.
It is a stupid movie, you're right, and it torpedoed a good movie, and people still defend it.
Tony, you're acting like this movie is like a 15 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not a 15 on Rotten Tomatoes.
You're right.
It's a 62.
0. It's a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. This piece of shit. You know what, Dan? Let's talk about this real quick. This is the plan. Because we do end up saying, sure, yeah, we'll take it back and we'll basically leave this country open to attack. I'm not saying that that's the reality of the situation. I'm saying that's the way they portray it, is if we leave, the country's dead. I don't know.
The truth of the matter is that's the trick. That's the thing. All they really want are the Cerebus numbers.
Correct. Oh, the bad guys. Yes.
Yeah, so turning around the ships and leaving the DMZ, that's a fake out.
It means nothing to them.
And you fell for it.
No. What I'm saying is we do it. America agrees eventually.
Because they know it doesn't mean anything.
No, that's not the reason. And Dan, this is the first time you've ever not gotten up in arms about the Save Spock bullshit. Okay? And here's my problem. Generally, I'm like, save the person, right? You know me. I'm pro save the people that you love. But here's the thing. The movie already sets up that's not this movie. That's not these guys' choice. Gerard Butler saves the president and not his wife. right? He makes a choice. He's like, I got to save one of you. I can't save both of you, so I have to save one of you. I'm doing the best I can. But then America's like, well, the president's very important. So we should give up an entire country just for this one guy. No. And they even say in the movie, they're like, we don't negotiate to terrorists, except for this one exception that we're doing just that for 2 hours. Thank you.
We negotiate with terrorists all the time.
I'm sure we do.
All the time. We're always talking to the Taliban. If Taliban wants to talk to us, we're like, when do you want to talk?
What, you want to meet for tea? Let me know.
What do you need? Millions of dollars? We'll give you millions of dollars.
Guns away.
Yeah, I mean, so the whole idea is they want these 3 Cerberus codes, and if you have those, you can stop the nuclear missiles, which means actually you could just blow up all the nuclear missiles in our silo and destroy America.
Are they okay? So I thought they were getting a hold of like interceptor missiles. I thought it was time. You're saying they just got the code. I don't understand. Oh, because they like detonate.
The idea is they want these codes are for if a missile gets launched accidentally, you can do the codes and blow it up on the way there.
It's like a self-destruct. Okay.
They're saying you could just destroy them, which of course, this movie's not that much better than Interceptor, but it's a little
worse.
Better.
It's worse.
Gerard Butler better than everybody in Interceptor, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, listen, I don't even
he's
like
great.
I agree. I think he's fun in this movie. This is like Dutch Boy. I can't think of the name of Dutch Boy.
Geostorm.
It's Geostorm level Gerard Butler, except for, once again, Geostorm knows what it is and has fun with it. That's why that movie's great.
I know.
This movie
You're
sucks.
bad at shit because nobody has fun in this movie.
Nobody has
serious.
fun. This should be a fun. We are taking over. It's ludicrous. This movie is ludicrous, but it plays it like it's serious, and that bothers me. Know your identity, sir. That's what I feel about it. But Gerard Butler, very fun. Both him and Aaron Eckhart, I thought are solid in this movie.
Aaron Eckhart's very solid, and you know he acts the hell out of all his situations.
He does.
Which is good.
He's the like one of the things that I'm like, I think he's a better president than Jimmy Fox in Whitehouse Down. He plays the weight of the presidency nicely. Yeah.
So we have these 3 Cerberus codes. President has one, this Admiral military guy has one, and then this woman has the other. Was she vice president? I'm not even sure. She was Secretary of State.
They gave everyone chirons, like lower thirds, so that you'd remember, and I forgot everybody. They literally were like, oh, this is, what's her name? This is their role. And I'm like, I forgot. I'm sorry, guys.
So basically, to keep the movie moving, we slowly have to get each of the Cerberus codes, and we begin by torturing the Admiral.
Yeah, we want to talk about this, Dan, because this is the biggest piece of trash of the movie.
The torturing of the Admiral?
Not the torturing, but why are they torturing him?
To make the president tell him to give him the code?
Right.
Yeah.
And then he does, right? He's like, you know what, just give it to him. Give it to him, because I'm weak. They'll never get mine.
Yeah.
What?
That's what he said.
Right. So put yourself in the torturer's position. Okay. This guy, the president, cares enough about the person you have a knife to their throat that he's like, give your code. They'll never get mine. Guess what, guy? I'm going to murder this guy. Even he gives me his code. I don't need him anymore. Now I'm going to murder him for real unless you give me your code, Mr. President, you fucking idiot. They just let the guy go? That doesn't make any sense. If you want to get information, first of all, they just got it. First of all, let's go back. They can't kill the guy they're torturing. They can't kill him. If they kill him, they're not going to get the code. So this is an empty threat.
Oh, so they should have tortured somebody else.
They should have tortured. That's how you do torture. You don't torture the person that has the information, and then you're like, oh, I can't kill him. So, but please tell me. And the president's like, you're right. I'll just tell you. Don't worry about it. You're working hard. I'll give you some of the codes.
But see, that's where we couldn't do that because that's what's his name does in the next torturing scene.
You're right, because we have no original ideas in this movie. We use the same idea twice. But let me just say, I do really like that scene with Gerard Butler when he tortures the guy. Just fucking slits the guy, like stabs that guy, and then he's like, I really liked your friend. Great moment. Wish the whole movie was that cool.
So tortures him, very brutal. And then later we torture like the woman. Incredibly brutal, like dragging a woman around through her blood. I mean, and that's why I got to give this movie some props. It's brutal.
Oh, okay, yes.
And in real life, that's how that shit would go down. This movie is
well, no.
Well, I'm not
I know
saying
what you're saying. I know what
psychologically.
you're
I'm
saying.
just saying these terrorists would be just brutal.
Yes.
And Gerard
100%.
Butler's, and we're saying that Gerard Butler grabs these other two guys,
Yeah.
and he wants to. He gets he gets the kid.
Yeah, he gets the kid.
Okay, so we'll do the kid first, then we'll do the torturing.
Okay.
So he gets the kid, and then he gets the kid out. Oh no, he finds the kid. He's got to get the kids out. He's in the wall. They shoot the walls. He's shooting them. He gives the kid a badge, which was really cool. I like that. And then he sends the kid up the hole.
Yeah.
And of course, they say this hole, like he couldn't go up this hole. He totally could fit up the hole.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's also military guys up there.
Yep.
And they could just come down.
Yeah,
There's also bad guys guarding the place, which they could just shoot, but they choose not to shoot them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of inconsistencies like that of like, why aren't you just doing stuff?
Because it's a bad movie. Because it's a bad movie.
But they just expect us to suspend disbelief, just like in all these movies, and they do okay.
They do not do okay. Stop giving it a break. It's terrible.
So Gerard Butler grabs two more guys, and he's like, I got to find out some information. So he's like, I'm going to start with you. He's like, who's your boss? And the guy's like, got a mouth covered, and then he just kills him. Pokes him right in the throat, kills him, and then he goes to the next guy, and he stabs him in the leg.
Right in the leg, yeah.
And he gives up everything, so they're able to tell everybody everything, so they know who the bad guy is. And the dude who is playing the bad guy, he is Korean, so that's good.
Okay, there you go.
Of American Korean descent, so that was good.
I love it. And again, very sexy.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he wasn't given anything to do.
Correct. He's not written well, which is how you make a cool action movie, make a good bad guy, guys. That's your goal. Make a likable hero, swing and a miss. Make a cool villain, swing and a miss. Nothing. This movie's nothing. 0 for 3.
So the two of them start talking on the radio, him and the bad guy. And the bad guy threatens his wife. And so we're all like, oh, shit, he's going to send people over there to grab his wife and bring his wife.
Nah.
That never happens.
Don't worry about it.
And these were two things I was happy about. They're like, we got the kid out. I was glad about that. I didn't want to hear this kid being, in jeopardy the whole stupid movie.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
And then the wife's never in jeopardy. I'm like, it's great.
How is that great? There are no stakes. We are taking over the White House. There are 0 stakes. Nobody cares. So once again, Gerard Butler not having that bad of a day. You know what I mean?
Okay. He does okay.
He's doing all right.
It's pretty funny if you really do compare it to like Die Hard. In Die Hard, he has to run through the glass, and he did just stick it to him. Gerard Butler, never gets deprived of anything. Always has plenty of guns.
Doing okay. Yep.
Never having any trouble. Never shot in the arm. Never loses half his fingers. Doing pretty good.
No, still looks pretty at the end of the movie. It's fine.
Still looks good.
Everything's fine.
He's a movie star. Nothing bad should happen to him.
Ugh.
Okay. So they get the second code. It was bloody. They dragged her through blood. It was just
sure. But again, they are torturing her for her code, and the president goes, "Okay, just give it to him." If I am the torturer and she gives me her code, I say, "Hey, president, give me your code now, or I cut her throat in front of you. I already know you're not going to let her die because you just gave me her code. So now give me your code as well, please." But they're like, okay, well, we're done with this one. Now we'll go to you. It's so stupid.
They got to use Tony's triangle of torture.
Oh, God. Triangle of torture.
This is the person who has the information. This is random person in the room, and then this is other person who could tell the other person to give the random information. You torture this person.
Correct. Always.
You can kill them.
Right. You can follow through on your threat. Yes.
Because the triangle breaks down. If you don't have 3 points of the triangle, then it's just stupid. Then
honestly,
it's a torture triangle.
This movie, the president just be like, well, okay, kill her. You'll never get, because I don't know the code. That's the whole point of the codes. She's the only one that knows it. Just kill her. Just kill her, please, and then we'll be done with the movie. Thank you.
And then here we get. So this is the point at which Morgan Freeman should be in the wherever they are, Pentagon or wherever they're at.
Yeah.
And the second service code goes in. Click, 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 click. This is when he's like, okay, we got to launch 12 ICBMs into the White House and kill the president, because that's what 100%. Would happen instantaneously. Would instantaneously 100%. Happen.
Guess what?
That does not happen.
Whitehouse Down sends an airstrike to blow up the White House. Just
do
saying.
Do they try to kill the
They
president? At
do.
one
I
point?
mean, we stop it, but yeah, they do.
No, but you have to.
Yeah,
At this point, you have to kill the president.
100%.
And
But
they
nope,
don't.
not this movie. They're like, instead, let's just give them South Korea, guys. All in favor? Aye?
Well,
okay.
No, more importantly, they know that they can then just blow up the whole country. If you can blow up the whole country, the president's got to die.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope, not in this movie. Eckhart's too pretty.
So Dylan McDermott goes out there to find him, and then he's like, "Oh, I've been alive here too," and he's like, "Oh, okay, we're friends and we're smoking out," and then he's like,
"We're friends.
That Kang guy is crazy." And
oh my god,
Gerard Butler's like, "Kang? How do you know his? Oh my god!" It was pretty thin because you probably needed Dylan to like actually get the upper hand. You know, this is the point at which the bad guy gets the upper hand, but he doesn't because Gerard Butler's so good.
Or you have to have a smart hero instead of just give. Oh God! Like, okay, let's go to Die Hard real quick. Do you remember Die Hard? The scene on the roof between Hans and McClane, and they're smoking, and he gives him a gun, and then Hans pulls the trigger, and it's empty. He's like, "Oops, no bullets." So good because he outsmarted him. Yeah, he tested him and he outsmarted. It's beautiful. Instead, this guy's just like, "Well, you said his name. There's no possible way you'd know his name, except for there is, because you know his name. If you know his name, Gerard Butler, there's a possibility that somebody else on your side would also know his name." Just saying.
Well, he probably should have done that gun trick. That's what he should have done.
He should have done a trick. Any trick would have been great.
So let's see. So then they send in the SEALs. Oh no, yeah, they send in the SEALs. Oh no, they send in the helicopters, and then they've taken over these guns. And I didn't like this scene. And then all this stuff happens, and people are shot, and half of the White House blows up. And
did it though?
And
seemed fine.
I wrote they shoot Mike Pence. There's a guy that looks like Mike Pence. He gets shot for some reason.
I don't know who that is, but I like it.
And then
have we done the thing where they execute someone on screen yet?
That's Mike Pence. I think they shoot Mike Pence on screen.
Okay, so let's talk about this real quickly because they do it 2 times. The first time they execute the prime minister without being on screen. Like, it's shocking to me as a viewer. I was like, "Whoa!" They just shot that guy in the head.
Very brutal. They just blow it. His head blows.
Nobody in the room reacts. Nobody in the Pentagon room reacts to that one. Later, they kill one of our people while the bad guy is on screen with a gun to his head and then pulls the trigger. Everyone freaks out as if it's shocking. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, he killed him." Of course he killed him. He already did that once. You should expect him to be doing that again. He already did it. You disobeyed him. Now he's going to kill another person. Why are you more shocked about this one than the first one that was a surprise? It's bad directing.
So he calls his wife, talks to his wife, because he knows he only has a little bit of time. That's very sweet.
Is it?
Now the bad guys want a chopper to escape, and so they all dress in black, and then they go out there, and they get in the chopper goes up, and then it explodes. And so this is the whole thing where you faked your death by sending out a bunch of your people to die, and then...
Did you fall for it, Dan?
No one should have fallen for that.
No one fell for it. It's terrible. At least make it... Listen, if you're going to do... As a director, as a writer, as anything, if you're going to try to give me a red herring, please try and give me a red herring. Please give a little effort. They just blow it up and then they move on to the next scene. The president was supposedly in that. You want me to believe the president was in that, but there's no fanfare. There's nobody even looks. Everyone's just like, okay, well, I guess that's done. Anyhow, so what's for dinner, guys? Nobody cared. Like, play it for real or don't play it at all. Come on.
So Gerard Butler goes down in the elevator. They've hacked the Cerebus, and then they fight. And then he knifes the guy in the head, and then he does in the code.
Wait. Oh, you're going really fast at the end of this movie. Holy cow. Okay, let's back up. Let's beep, back up a beep. They have a conversation again in the comms room, right? Gerard Butler is talking to the bad guy, and he tries to give a one-liner where he's like, If you don't, I'm going to come down there. I'm going to stab you in the brain with my knife.
That's what he does.
Yeah, he does. And it's just as dumb when he does it as when he says it.
Promises made, promises kept.
Stupid. Yeah, terrible. It's dumb. Do a cooler death than that, please. Or at least give him a cooler one, like, I'm going to stab you in the brain with my knife. Nobody cares, guy. Nobody cares. Shut up.
I liked it when he stabbed me.
No, you didn't.
And the president, something happens to him, and he's all. I really wanted Gerard Butler fighting. He gets shot. I wanted Gerard Butler fighting the bad guy, and then he's losing, and we figure out that he was doing all that losing so the president could crawl over there and turn the thing off. That's what I really was hoping.
Oh, sure. So you wanted like a Whitehouse Down moment where the president saves the day because the hero can't do it. Got it. Yeah. You're watching the wrong movie, Dan.
No, I'm watching the movie you sent me to watch.
I meant America. America, you're watching the wrong movie. You dum-dums.
And then Aaron gives a speech, and they raise a new flag, and America's saved.
Yep. And then we get two more of these pieces of shit.
So I think you're too bent on saying this movie's trash because another movie's not trash, and you're crazy, Tony.
I'm not crazy. You had notes, too. It's not a good movie. At least admit that it's not a good movie.
It's not as bad as you think it is.
It may not be as bad as I think it is, but it's far worse than America thinks it is.
America's wrong again.
Thank you.
You know what, Tony?
That's all I wanted, Dan.
2/3 of Americans always get it wrong.
That's true. That's true. That's a good saying. It's not a good movie, Dan. I don't care. Listen, independent of whether or not Whitehouse Down existed, it's not a good movie.
It's not a good movie, but it's not a terrible movie. I didn't hate the writing. I thought the writing was like, okay, whatever.
No, it's bad.
Gerard
it's bad.
Butler?
It's too serious. It thinks it's making a great action movie. It's not. It's making schlock. It's making a summer blockbuster schlock without any of the schlock or fun. It's just bad. It's not good enough to be as serious as it thinks it is.
Tony, he tortures guys to get information. Yeah. He stabs a guy in the brain and he beats a guy to death with Lincoln's head. That's enough for me.
It's not enough for me. It's not enough for me.
He saves the kid. The wife is his wife is never put in jeopardy. That's enough for me.
It's not enough for me. Listen, action movies are a dime a dozen. What makes a good action movie is the likable hero, which we don't have in this. I'm not saying he's unlikable. He's nothing.
He is, but I mean, that's what a Secret Service agent is.
Oh, okay. So now you're just going to, it's real. Oh, it's real. Oh, it's real. My God. It's a movie. It's a movie. Give me a break. Likeable hero, likable villain. I need both of those things.
There's this plane that had machine guns on the side, and there's
which
a plane
was cool.
that did things, and then it crashed into the monument.
Yeah, well, Whitehouse Down has a bunch of things that crash into different things. So there you go.
Okay. Anything else to say about this moderately entertainment movie?
Oh, gross. It's not that. Don't pump. You know what, guys? I want you to watch them both back. No, don't watch them back to back. That's like 5 hours of your life. Watch them on different times. But watch both movies and just understand that one was better than the other and the other one deserved sequels and this one did not. That's all I'm saying.
My favorite thing is you hate this movie, but you still own it on Vudu.
Of course I own it on Vudu. I mean, listen, I didn't buy the sequels. That's all I'll say about it.
That's where you're drawing the line, Tony?
Well, because I bought it and I watched it and I was like, ooh, boy, I can't buy the rest of these. But I do want to see them.
You watched it in the theater.
Yeah, I watched it in the theaters and then I bought it later and I was like, was this as bad as I remember? And then I watched it, I was like, it is as bad as I remember. And now I'm doing that a third time where I'm like, is it really as bad as I remember? And it is. I was proven right all 3 times. It's just trash. It's terrible.
Tony thinks he's 3 for 3. We all know he's 0 for 3.
I am 4 for 3. I won one that I didn't even play. That's how sure I am that this movie's trash.
Anything else to say about this classic?
Go watch Die Hard and Whitehouse Down. Both better movies.
I will wholeheartedly agree with that.
Well,
I will never revisit this movie again.
It's an unfair comparison to say that Die Hard's better. Like, obviously, I know that. But it's, they want to be a Die Hard movie. That's how serious they take it, and it's not.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about something we like this week.
I love it.
I started watching Halo.
Oh, yeah. No, I have fun with it.
And it's pretty interesting. I was like, wow, the reviews on this are very negative.
Yeah.
And I go to the first review. He takes off his helmet. He never should take off his helmet. I'm like, oh my God, this person is giving it a 1-star review because a character in a movie took off a helmet.
Master Chief doesn't take off his helmet. It's a thing.
Hold on. He lives his entire life. We see him like at home taking a bath and he's wearing the helmet.
Well, we never see him doing that.
Exactly.
Okay. That's not in the movie.
They're going to show us things in this movie that are not in the game. They don't. There's not Master Chief takes a bath or Master Chief's personal hygiene.
Of all, I bet there is. I bet you can find that porn on the internet very easily. But what I will say,
I'm sorry. Master Chief's going to have to take that shit off if he's going to take a fucking bath.
No, he'll have the helmet on. He'll be full naked underneath. You know what I'm saying? Just hanging in the wind.
So they'd have been good with that if he had the helmet on, fully naked, taking a bath. They're like,
dick out, helmet on.
How's he brush his teeth? How's he brush his fucking teeth if he doesn't take the helmet off?
Right up in there. I think.
How does he go to the dentist?
He doesn't need a dentist. He's like genetic. He's genetically not. Superior. Yeah,
he's just a dude.
Yeah.
No, he's not genetically superior. He's a random dude that they just found somewhere.
They found a guy with perfect teeth. Perfect teeth.
No such person.
I think the problem. I mean, one of the problems is that people look at it as it's not faithful to the video games. It is. It's not super faithful. I don't care because I'm like the video games are fun, but it doesn't bother me because that would be very hard to make an enjoyable experience.
So in other words, you should be able to put things like the video games or the trailer out of your thought process when you're watching a movie. Is that what you're saying? Not
out of it because there's still great nods to the video game throughout. You know what I mean? There's something for everybody. It's you can get into it if you don't know the video games, but if you know the video games, you get extra fun goodies. You know what I mean?
So Tony, what do you got for us?
We finally saw Encanto, and I know I'm super, super late on that, but wonderful.
Which one is that? I think I've seen it.
It's about the magical house. It's got it's like I think it's Pixar. Is it the newest Pixar or DreamWorks? One of those two.
Is that Disney? I don't think I've watched that.
Or Disney. It's one of them.
Disney. I haven't watched that.
It's one of the animated films. We're late on it. It's great.
All right, I'll watch it.
That's it. Yeah, we watched it with the kids this weekend.
So I got I got to decide between 2 movies for next week.
Oh boy, is either of them a Will Smith movie? Because I say choose that one.
Neither one is a Will Smith movie.
Oh, you had to look though, which is interesting.
Both of these have directors that you love.
Oh boy, that's exciting.
Should we do the most topical one, or should we do the one that's the director you love the most?
Let's do topical right now, and then save the one I love the most.
So this one is the oldest movie we've ever done.
Let's do the other movie.
It's too late. You already said it. And it's the oldest movie we've ever done because it is 10,000 BC.
Oh, God.
Which is Roland Emmerich again.
Speaking of Roland Emmerich, this is not one of his underrated movies. This movie is not very good.
I believe I watched about a half an hour of this movie, and then when the cavemen showed up at the pyramids, I was like, what the fuck is this?
And I'm out. I'm out of this.
So I'm intrigued as to where 10,000 BC goes and how they explain cavemen and mammoths in Egypt.
I love that you think that they explain it. That's great. Keep that optimism, Dan.
So it's a good
go
one.
Watch Whitehouse Down instead, guys. You don't need to watch this movie.
Holy moly.
No, that'll be fun. That'll be good.
Yep, we're going back to the past. Back to the ancient past.
Back to the not future.
Yes. So, I guess that's the show.
Yeah, I guess that's the show. I hope that you guys get to see it, because we've had some technical difficulties, so we'll see.
Be technically interesting.
Hey-o.
So if you like what you see, leave us a comment or a like or a subscription. I just another guy I know said that he started to watch some of the old shows. So he's working his way through them. So he's got a lot of content to dig through, and this is a brand new one for him to enjoy.
And I will say, we want your likes, your subscriptions. But if you are an Olympus Has Fallen fan, get out. Get out of my house. I don't want to hear it.
You're an Olympus Fallen fan. Go for it. Oh, we also had somebody comment that they liked Bicentennial Man. They're on Tony's side.
Yes, I'll have to go back and tell them that they're right and that they're the smartest individual on planet Earth.
Yeah. So 1 for
Good for
Tony, 0 for stupid Dan.
Yeah, Dan.
Stupid Dan. I get myself to it. I'm so stupid.
You dumb man.
This has been Hate Watching. We'll be back next week, and hopefully we'll see you then.
Goodbye, everybody.